Good evening. Welcome back to the Glazov gang. Our gang members this evening, Nonie Darwish, a leading freedom fighter in the Western world, the author of several books including Cruel and Usual Punishment, which deals with the barbarities of Islamic law. Evan Sayet, the #1 conservative comedian in the United States. He's also been ranked as being among the top 25 influential conservative Jews in America. It is debatable and a mystery what it is exactly he's influencing. We will discuss that in this program.
Or maybe there are just so few conservative Jews that there's no 26.
Exactly. And Olli Majoi coming to us from Australia and Finland to tell us about his European experience, and he has some warnings for the United States. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Glazov gang. This last segment is called The Road Less Traveled, and that is because we have three individuals at this table that at one time left a political faith and entered a new faith. Nonie Darwish, at one time, you were part of a certain spiritual and perhaps a political mindset, and you left that faith. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, I was born and raised as a Muslim in Cairo, Egypt. I grew up in the Gaza Strip in the 50s as a child. And I learned to hate Jews. The anti-Semitism in the Muslim world is way far worse than the worst thing even that ever happened in Germany. It's historical. It's been for 1400 years, non-stop. And I believed it. I moved to America because I wanted to live in
I'm sorry to
freedom.
interrupt. To what age did you believe it, approximately?
Believe
Like in
Islam?
your youth? Yeah, and just that Jews were bad. And
Oh,
Islam.
yeah. From birth. I mean,
Okay.
Until when?
Until when?
until I moved to the United States.
Okay.
Absolutely.
But Evan is Jewish.
Is
You don't
Jewish,
feel
yeah.
any.
Now, I grew up...
Actually, now I love Jews.
Now you love Jews.
Yeah,
So
I
Evan,
grew up-
you don't have.
And
to
I
be
grew up in
Yeah,
Great Neck and I learned to hate Jews. But it's because I lived with them.
So, Nonie, very quickly, because I want to get to the other
Yeah.
guests. What caused you to have second thoughts and to leave that faith? Because it was an
The
unpopular
lies.
step to do in your
The
family
lies.
and community.
Total lies. Everything I grew up with, I started discovering that it's lies. Sharia law.
What was a turning point?
My turning point really was 9/11. But when I moved to America, I really escaped the oppression as a woman. And my first job in America, there was a sign that says, this organization does not discriminate according to gender, race or national origin or religion. And to me, it just was a feeling of liberation.
Nonie, did you lose some friends? Did you lose family members? Like, were people critical? Was it a scary thing to leave that
Absolutely.
faith and to take the road less
It
traveled?
took me years to get the courage to do it, but the minute I did it, it was just an instant of power
Yeah.
and commitment to this country that gave me my dignity as a human being, as a woman. And I also felt I am committed to expose the anti-Semitism of Islam towards the Jewish people. I felt deeply sorry for my national origin, my religion, of the way they've treated.
Did it take
the
you
Jewish
some
people.
time to come around Jews and to change your thoughts about them?
But it wasn't difficult at all. At the beginning, it was scary.
It was because they were. What were they going to do to
I
you?
thought if I go to a synagogue that they will curse us. There was the same way we curse. Muslims
Yeah.
curse Jews in mosques. So I thought
People like Evan have changed your mind. Right?
yeah, I thought that Jews curse when in reality they are the most tolerant people on earth.
Oh, you
Thank
should
you
meet
very
my
much,
mother.
Nonie. Now,
Except for
what did you say?
I said you should meet my mother, but it's just a Jewish mother joke.
Evan,
Tell Mom I
Ed,
love you.
one-
I'm sorry. Good.
Your mom's a bit authoritarian?
Oh,
What is
no,
it?
it's just
it
it's
was a
just
joke?
it was a cliche Jewish
Oh,
mother
it's a
joke.
cliche Jewish mother.
Yeah,
Okay.
you know what? I didn't feel like I had enough camera time, so I jumped in with a joke. Just forgive me.
What is it again with Jewish mothers? They say that they're very controlling in the family? What
No,
is the
no.
stereotype?
They're just overly concerned.
Overly concerned is a good way to
Take
put
your
it.
jacket before you
Okay,
leave the house.
Evan, at one time,
I was a Muslim.
Why did you convert from the Islamic faith? No, you're tricking us.
That's not
At
true.
one time, you were a brain-dead liberal.
That's correct.
And then you left and went and saw the light. What happened?
Oh, yes. I grew up a New York City liberal Jew, knowing everything that every New York City liberal Jew needs to know about politics, that the Democrats are good and the Republicans are evil. That's all you needed to know. Democrats like people, Republicans like war. Democrats like air, Republicans
And
don't.
you believed that once.
Republicans, yeah, believed it, but didn't give it much
In
thought.
15 seconds,
I was-
do an imitation of something you used to say. Go ahead.
Oh,
Let's
you know
see
what?
it.
I was never a doctrinaire liberal. I was
Oh.
a brain-dead liberal.
Okay.
You didn't need to think about anything, and you certainly didn't get into deep conversations. Basically, a liberal conversation goes along the lines of something like, Bush is Hitler. Yeah, he's Hitler. Want to have sex? Sure. That's a liberal political conversation.
And did you used to have those conversations?
Yes, but not
would
the
the women
sex.
say no
The whole
after you
thing?
said let's
You know,
have sex?
you're so not liberal. How do you know they were women? All right?
Uh-oh. Okay.
Yeah.
I apologize.
Come on.
Okay.
In fact, it was Olli.
Okay.
Hey,
This is good stuff. But
there's
let me,
a lot of
wait. But let me answer
Did we sign contracts before we started?
Let me
No, I
answer
saw
what,
the
Okay,
let me
so
just answer
very
what changed me very quickly.
Okay, what was the turning
I
point?
call myself a 9/13 Republican. 9/11 didn't surprise me. I didn't know the date, I didn't know the targets, but I knew enough about the realities of the world that the same people who were murdering the Jews of Israel for no other reason that they were the closest infidels would, when they could, come and massacre the big infidel. What surprised me was what I call 9/12, the days, the weeks, the months, and the years after 9/11, and the liberals' response to the attacks. The notion that we deserved it, that in the words of Jeremiah Wright, it was the chickens coming home to roost.
Right.
The idea that we deserved it because you and I and everyone in this room is a little Eichmann.
And that was a huge turnoff to you and scared you.
The idea that the people who think the people who flew those planes into the buildings are the victims and the people in those buildings deserve
And
to be
that's what
burned
changed
alive.
it. Thank you. Now, very quickly, Evan, we got to move on. But Evan,
Yes.
did you suffer unpopularity and
I was
excommunication?
always unpopular anyway.
You were always unpopular.
Yeah,
But was there, the liberals do not forgive. The left is very unforgiving. Once you became a conservative or an anti-leftist,
right.
were you excommunicated from certain circles? Was it painful for you?
More than anything, the people that mattered to me who would fall into that category, we weren't excommunicated because we were relatives.
Yeah.
You know, what it did was it ended the possibility of having any kind of meaningful conversation.
Yeah.
We could no longer talk politics because they'd get angry and insane.
Okay,
William
so-
Buckley calls it the mania.
Right. Olli, at one time, did you also share this mental illness of being part of the leftist faith?
Well, I guess you could call that, but when your whole country is suffering from it, it's a little bit difficult. I mean,
What country are you referring to?
I'm from Finland originally, which is one of the welfare states of Europe.
And everybody thinks like this, right?
Everybody thinks like that. You don't really have a right-wing anything there. You know, you basically hear the MSNBC type of story on spin on everything.
Where did the change come where you started going down a conservative path?
It started, like I said in the last segment, when I actually moved to Australia and I saw that there's a different way of doing things. It's not all the welfare is the best thing that ever happened to the universe, like I was told. I saw that people can live differently. And when I came to America, it certainly changed. And that's when I started taking interest in politics. I wasn't a political person, but I just saw that an average person in America has so much better life than their contemporaries in Finland, that I started listening, and tuning into. I started asking questions like, why is it? Like, why is that certain system produces this sort of way of living and this system produces different kind of way
Did
of
you
living?
meet some criticism and your leftist friends and community? Did they look down at you and criticize you?
I gotta admit, I was actually, I was fascinated by America ever since I was a little kid. I wanted to come here because I saw that there's something out there. This isn't everything that there is out there. So I was already then criticized because for the mere fact that I thought that America might not be quite as bad as what they make of it. And certainly now that I've been here and I'm very pro-American toward my European friends.
Thank you, Olli. I want to ask
Can I just add one very quick thing? Because when you say that Americans live a better way of life, it's not just that we have bigger cars and bigger homes and more money. We're happier people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's absolutely true.
Yeah.
It's the whole mentality.
We're coming to the last segment. Please, 5 seconds from each of you. But whenever I've run into a lot of Europeans, there's such a pathological anti-Americanism. There's something really wrong with them. And but the French, I find, are one of the worst. Can you enlighten me? What is wrong with the French, Nonie?
Well,
There's
I
a lot of
think there's an
anti-Semitism.
element
They
of,
hate
there's
Israel.
a lot of element of jealousy and envy.
Jealousy?
And that goes even to the Muslim world.
When they keep losing
and
wars, we
Europe.
have to keep rescuing.
Yeah, there is an even though America is not shorting, trying to show the world how to do it right.
Yeah.
We're trying to help the world to do it
The
right.
pathology of Europe.
But they are not. But there's something about 9/11 I want to just mention that is very
quickly,
important. That the American people have been traumatized by 9/11, and our media is instead of treating that trauma, it is really hitting it more.
I see. Great point.
Quickly, I disagree with you. I don't think we were traumatized enough by 9/11. I think that it was a one-off, that they stopped reporting, they covered it up, they wouldn't show the people jumping, they wouldn't show the people in the Arab world dancing for joy. I don't think we...
Wait a minute. I think we did. We are so traumatized, and that's why the society is trying to placate the Islamists.
Oh, I
they're
don't
so
think
scared.
so in the
At
slightest.
least
Look, long before 9/11, we had Jimmy Carter who turned Iran over to the Shah. I mean,
Okay.
this is not something. Stop trying to blame us for what they do. I don't remember what the point was any longer.
Our show is over in 20 seconds.
You can't end with that.
Our show is over in 20 seconds each, please. Each guest's short-term plans.
Oh, I have
Olli,
mine.
what are you up to?
Book.
Tell us about your book, please.
Well, it's a book about my experiences coming to America. You know, why I think that this way of living is much better than in Europe, and I think it's got more weight coming from a European perspective than the American conservative.
Thank you. Nonie, your short-term plans? You also have a book coming
I
up.
have a new book coming
I'm gonna write
February,
a book.
The Devil We Don't Know.
Wow.
I also want to have a conference for former Muslims in either D.C. or in the Bible
You're going to
Belt.
need a lot of security there. Evan?
All right, we already told them to go to YouTube and watch my
Okay.
video, so I'm going to take my last 20 seconds to answer the question I forgot to answer just a moment ago,
In 10
which is why
seconds.
France and Europe... Liberals dislike success. Success is proof positive that somebody has cheated.
Yeah.
They also believe in something that's just wrong, which is that the world is zero-sum, that somebody's success causes somebody else's failure. So they look at America's success not just with envy, but as the cause of Africa's failure, the cause of the Arab world's failure, the cause of...
Yeah.
And so they don't just envy us, they hate us because we're the cause of the greatest injustice in the history of the world.
Last and final question, 3 seconds each, but this is probably the most important question. I'm getting all these calls and emails that I'm doing better than O'Reilly, Hannity, and even Glenn Beck on this show.
Yeah, but do they use
you guys
those
agree to
names?
this?
Absolutely.
Okay, and you think
Absolutely,
that's,
so you're on Fox.
I belong on Fox News?
Give me
Evan, I'm
the
doing
names
great.
again.
Thank you, Evan Sayet, Olli Majoi, and Nonie Darwish. It was a pleasure.
Jamie, our pleasure.
And thank you so much for becoming gang members of the
Thank
Glazov
you.
gang. We'll see you next week. Good night.